The white room had no windows. Kang Minho sat in a chair that was too small for his human frame. His hands rested on the metal table, showing old burn scars and fresh cuts. Across from him sat Veltar, a creature that looked like a giant insect with compound eyes that reflected the harsh lights above. Veltar's 4 arms moved over glowing screens. The alien investigator had been asking questions for 3 hours. Each question made the creature's antennae twitch with what humans might call nervousness. "Tell me again about the rescue mission," Veltar said. The translator made his voice sound flat and emotionless, but Minho could see fear in those compound eyes. Minho looked at the one-way glass wall. He knew Dr. Yoon Hana was watching from the other side. She had survived too. They were the only 2 humans the Galactic Council had captured after what they called the Terran incident. "You want to know why your 7th Fleet ran away from 5 cargo ships?" Minho asked. He leaned back in the uncomfortable chair. "You want to know why 2 of the galaxy's biggest empires asked for peace talks after watching us work?" Veltar's screen showed images of destroyed alien warships, twisted metal floating in space, entire fleets retreating from a handful of human vessels. The aliens' claws clicked nervously on the table. "The Sectar Empire lost 12 battleships," Veltar said. "The Nixari Collective abandoned 3 star systems. All because of humans. This makes no sense. Your species has no advanced weapons. Your ships are slow and old. Your technology is basic compared to ours." Minho smiled. It was not a happy smile. "That's your first mistake. You think this is about technology?" Behind the glass, Dr. Yoon Hana watched her friend give his testimony. She had been in that white room yesterday, answering the same questions. The aliens could not understand what they had witnessed. How could they? The galaxy had rules. There were things that were possible and things that were not. Humans seemed to ignore those rules completely. "Begin from the start," Veltar demanded. 6 months ago?" The distress signal. Minho closed his eyes for a moment. He could still hear the static-filled message that had changed everything. The desperate voice calling for help. 50,000 human colonists trapped in a place where no rescue was supposed to be possible. The colony ship New Busan was stuck in the shattered belt. Minho began. "Your people know that place. The dead zone between Sectar and Nexari space. Nothing that goes in there comes out alive." Veltar's antennae twitched faster. "The shattered belt has spatial anomalies, gravitational storms, ancient defense systems. It is impossible to navigate." "Impossible," Minho repeated the word slowly. "You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means." The alien leaned forward on his forearms. "Explain." "When we got the distress call, we knew the Galactic Council wouldn't help. Too dangerous, you said. Too many risks. Acceptable losses, you called 50,000 people." Minho's voice grew harder. "So we went ourselves. 5 cargo ships against the most dangerous region in the galaxy," Veltar said. "This was suicide? Maybe, but they were our people." Dr. Yoon Hana pressed her hand against the glass wall. She remembered that day. The moment Captain Lee Ji-won made the announcement over the ship's communication system. They were going into hell itself to bring their people home. Not one person on any of the 5 ships had objected. "Your captain was Lee Ji-won," Veltar read from his screen. "Age 52. No military training. A merchant trader." "The best captain I ever served under," Minho said. "She led civilian cargo ships into a military death zone." "Yes. Why?" Minho looked directly at the alien investigator. "Because that's what humans do. We don't leave people behind." Veltar's screens showed tactical data from the rescue mission. Long-range sensors had tracked the 5 human ships as they entered the shattered belt. Every alien military analyst had predicted they would be destroyed within hours. The Sectar Empire was watching, Veltar said. They wanted to see humans die in the belt. It would prove that your species was not a threat. How did that work out for them? The alien's compound eyes reflected the images on his screens. Sectar warships fleeing, battle formations breaking apart, an entire invasion fleet abandoning their attack plans. "You survived the belt," Veltar said. His voice carried disbelief even through the translator. "Not only survived, you rescued the colonists. You brought out ancient technology. You made contact with the AI guardians that no species has communicated with for 10,000 years. We did our job. Your job was impossible." "No," Minho said firmly. "Our job was to bring our people home. We brought them home." Dr. Yoon Hana watched her friend speak with such simple confidence. The aliens would never understand. They saw the universe in terms of possible and impossible, safe and dangerous, logical and illogical. Humans saw it differently. They saw problems that needed to be solved and people who needed to be helped. The AI guardians in the belt, Veltar continued. They were designed to eliminate all organic life. They had been killing everything that entered their territory for millennia, until we talked to them. You talked to machines programmed for genocide. Dr. Yoon Hana talked to them. She's good at making friends. Behind the glass, Hana smiled sadly, making friends with ancient killer robots. It sounded insane when put that way, but it had worked. The galaxy is afraid, Veltar admitted quietly. You humans do things that should not be possible. You ignore every law of nature, every rule of engagement, every principle of logic. We get results. Yes, that is what terrifies everyone. Minho stood up slowly. His chair scraped against the floor. Are we done here? Because I've told you everything. We went to save our people. We saved them. End of story. Veltar's forearms gestured at his screens full of battle reports, casualty lists, and tactical analyses. This is not the end. This is the beginning. Every species in the galaxy wants to know what humans are planning next. Planning? Minho laughed. We don't plan. We just do what needs to be done. That is exactly what terrifies us. The interrogation room fell silent. Through the one-way glass, Dr. Yoon Hana watched the alien investigator realize the truth. Humans were not conquerors or destroyers. They were something far more dangerous to a galaxy built on accepting limitations. They were people who refused to give up. Captain Lee Ji-won was drinking coffee when the distress signal came through. The Soul's Pride was 3 days out from Kepler Station, carrying a load of mining equipment to the outer colonies. It should have been a routine cargo run. Kim So-min heard it first. She was the communications officer, a young woman who could pull signals out of static that other people couldn't even detect. Her fingers moved quickly over her control panel as she cleaned up the transmission. Captain, you need to hear this, So-min called out. Lee walked over to the communication station. Her coffee mug said Galaxy's Best Mom in Korean letters. Her daughter had given it to her before she left Earth. The ceramic was chipped from years of use in space. The voice that came through the speakers was broken by static, male, desperate. This is colony ship New Busan. We are trapped in the shattered belt. 50,000 souls on board. Life support failing. Please, anyone who can hear this, we need immediate rescue. The bridge fell silent. Park Dae-ho stopped working on a control panel. Choi Hyun-woo looked up from his navigation charts. Everyone knew about the shattered belt. It was where ships went to die. How long have they been broadcasting? Lee asked. Signal timestamp shows 6 hours, So-min replied. But it's been bouncing around the belt's interference fields. Could have been transmitting for days. Park Dae-ho was the ship's mechanic. He had served in Earth's defense forces before becoming a civilian. His hands were always dirty from engine work, but his mind was sharp. Captain, the belt is a no-fly zone. Galactic Council declared it off-limits after the 3rd Survey Fleet was destroyed there. I know what it is, Lee said quietly. Choi Hyun-woo brought up a star chart on the main screen. The shattered belt appeared as a red zone between 2 warring alien territories. Gravitational anomalies made navigation impossible. Ancient automated weapons destroyed anything that moved. It was a graveyard of ships from a dozen species. How did New Busan end up in there? Hyun-woo asked. Doesn't matter, Lee replied. They're there now. The distress signal played again. The same desperate voice asking for help that would not come. 50,000 people trapped in hell waiting to die. Captain, So-min said carefully. I'm picking up other transmissions. Galactic Council ships are monitoring the situation. And they're maintaining safe distance. No rescue attempt authorized. Park Dae-ho threw his wrench down on the deck. The metal tool clanged loudly in the quiet bridge. Safe distance? There are 50,000 people on that ship. The Council has protocols, Hyun-woo said. He didn't sound like he agreed with them. Acceptable losses in unrecoverable situations. Acceptable losses. Park repeated the words like they tasted bad. Lee stared at the red zone on the navigation screen. The shattered belt stretched across 3 star systems. Inside that maze of death, people were dying. Human people. Her people. So-min, send a message to New Busan. Tell them help is coming. The young communication officer's hands froze over her controls. Captain, you heard me. Ma'am, we're a cargo ship. We don't have military shields or weapons. The belt will tear us apart. Maybe, but we're going anyway. Park Dae-ho grinned. It was the first smile anyone had seen on his face in weeks. Finally, something interesting. Hyunwoo looked worried. Captain, I need to plot a course through normal space. The belt has no safe passage routes. Then we make one. Lee activated the ship-wide communication system. Her voice would now reach every crew member on Seoul's Pride. 47 people who had signed up for safe cargo runs, not suicide missions. This is Captain Lee. We've received a distress call from colony ship New Busan. They're trapped in the shattered belt with 50,000 colonists on board. The Galactic Council has classified this as an unrecoverable situation. They're not sending help, she paused. The bridge was completely quiet. I'm taking this ship into the belt to attempt a rescue. This is dangerous. This is probably suicide. Anyone who wants to transfer to another vessel can do so at our next port. I won't think less of you, but I can't leave our people to die alone. The communication channel crackled with responses. Every crew member on the ship was talking at once. Lee expected fear, anger, maybe mutiny. Instead, she heard something else entirely. Agreement. Count me in, Captain. Those are our people out there. Seoul's Pride doesn't abandon family. When do we leave? Lee closed her eyes for a moment. These crazy, brave people were going to follow her into hell because it was the right thing to do. No orders from command. No promise of reward. Just basic human decency. Salmon, contact the other human ships in this sector. Tell them what we're doing. Within 2 hours, 4 more cargo ships had changed course. The mining hauler Busan's Hope. The transport vessel Gangnam Express. The supply ship Jeju Dream. The heavy lifter Incheon Thunder. None of them were warships. All of them were coming anyway. Captain Nam Jinsu of the Busan's Hope was the first to respond. His ship was carrying medical supplies to a frontier world. Lee, this is insane. We're going to get everyone killed. Probably. Lee agreed over the communication link. You coming anyway? Already changing course. My crew voted. 42 in favor, 0 against. The 5 ships formed up in loose formation. Their combined cargo capacity could handle 50,000 people if they dumped their current loads. Their combined weapons could barely fight off pirates. Their combined shields might protect them from cosmic radiation. Against the shattered belt, they were nothing. Dr. Yoon Hana was on Jeju Dream, heading to a research station to study alien plant samples. She was a xenobiologist who spoke 6 alien languages fluently. When Captain Kim told her about the rescue mission, she volunteered immediately. Doctor, we might need someone who understands alien technology, Kim had said. The belt is full of ancient systems from dead civilizations. I might be useful. Young Baek Minji was the pilot on Incheon Thunder. At 24, she was the youngest person in the rescue fleet. Her reflexes were impossibly fast, honed by years of flying through asteroid fields and debris zones. She treated her massive cargo hauler like a fighter craft. This is going to be fun, she told her crew over the ship's intercom. Fun? Her co-pilot asked. We're flying into the most dangerous place in the galaxy to save people who can't be saved. If that's not fun, what is? The 5 human ships turned toward the shattered belt. Behind them, alien vessels watched from safe distance. Military analysts from a dozen species monitored their progress. Everyone expected to witness a spectacular disaster. Instead, they were about to witness something that would change the galaxy forever. The understanding that humans don't know when to quit. The edge of the shattered belt looked like a wall of twisted space. Reality itself seemed broken here. Stars appeared in wrong colors. Light bent in impossible directions. The 5 human cargo ships hung at the boundary like insects approaching a spider's web. Sweet mother of pearl, Baek Minji whispered as she stared through Incheon Thunder's main viewport. The young pilot had flown through asteroid fields and solar storms, but nothing had prepared her for this. On Seoul's Pride, Captain Lee Ji-won studied the sensor readings. The data made no sense. Gravity wells appeared and disappeared randomly. Energy storms powerful enough to fry a ship's electronics swept through the region every few minutes. Ancient weapons platforms, silent for thousands of years, were beginning to power up in response to their presence. This is what killed 3 survey fleets, Choi Hyun-woo said quietly. The navigator's voice was steady, but his hands shook slightly as he worked his controls. Those were exploration missions, Park Dae-ho replied. He was busy reinforcing the ship's power systems with spare parts. They were trying to map the place. We just need to get in, grab our people, and get out. Just, Hyunwoo repeated. Right. Dr. Yoon Hana's voice came over the communication link from Jeju Dream. I'm reading artificial energy signatures throughout the belt. This isn't just a natural hazard zone. Something built defenses here. Something very old and very smart. Can you identify the builders? Lee asked. Negative. The technology predates every known galactic civilization, but the defense patterns are adapting to our presence. Whatever's in there knows we're here. Baek Minji gunned her engines. Incheon Thunder, despite being a heavy cargo hauler, leaped forward like a race car. Well, we can't stand around here all day. Those colonists won't save themselves. The young pilot dove her ship into the wall of twisted space. Reality bent around her hull. The stars outside went from white to red to impossible colors that human eyes couldn't name. Minji laughed with pure joy. Minji, report status, Captain Lee called over the communication link. Hull integrity holding. Engines running hot but stable. Navigation is completely useless. I'm flying by instinct now. The pilot's voice was cheerful, as if she was describing a fun ride at an amusement park instead of probable death. The other 4 ships followed Incheon Thunder into the maelstrom. Almost immediately, everything went wrong. A gravity wave hit Seoul's Pride like a giant invisible hand. The ship spun end over end, alarms screaming. Crew members thrown against bulkheads. Captain Lee hauled herself back to her command chair as Park Dae-ho fought to restart the engines. Hull breach on deck 3, Kim So-man reported, blood running from a cut on her forehead. Emergency seals holding. What about the others? Gangnam Express lost main power. Jeju Dream is missing from sensors. Busan's Hope is, oh no. Through the viewport they could see Captain Nam Jinsu's ship. It was caught in a gravitational whirlpool, a spiral of warped space that was slowly crushing the vessel's hull. The mining hauler was built tough, but nothing could survive that kind of pressure for long. All ships. This is Lee. We need to help Busan's Hope. Negative, Nam's voice came through the static-filled channel. Don't risk everyone for one ship. Continue the mission. We don't leave people behind, Lee said firmly. Park Dae-ho was already moving. The mechanic grabbed an armload of spare parts and headed for the airlocks. I need someone who can pilot a maintenance pod through that mess. I'll do it. Baek Minji's voice cut through the communication chatter. Somehow the young pilot had maneuvered her massive cargo hauler close to the trapped ship, transferring to maintenance pod now. What happened next became legend among human spacers. Minji took a tiny maintenance pod, barely bigger than a fighter craft, and flew it directly into the gravitational whirlpool. The forces that were tearing apart a heavy mining ship should have crushed her instantly. Instead, she surfed the gravity waves like a dolphin riding ocean currents. This is actually kind of fun once you get the hang of it, she reported cheerfully. It's all about timing and momentum. She attached emergency power cells to Busan's Hope's hull. The ship's engines roared back to life just as its structure began to fail. Nam gunned his ship out of the whirlpool with seconds to spare. How did you do that? He asked over the communication link. Easy, Minji replied. I pretended it was a video game. The human fleet regrouped and continued deeper into the belt. Ancient weapons platforms began tracking them. Automated defense systems that had been sleeping for millennia came online. Energy beams powerful enough to vaporize asteroids lanced through space around them. The humans responded by doing what they did best, improvising. When their shields failed under the energy barrage, Park Dae-ho welded pieces of destroyed alien ships to their hulls as armor. When their weapons overheated from constant firing, they rammed enemy drones with their cargo holds. When their navigation computers gave up trying to plot courses through the chaos, they flew by sight and instinct. We're not supposed to be able to do this, Dr. Yoon Hana observed as she watched Minji pilot her ship through a field of gravitational anomalies while humming a K-pop song. The young woman treated cosmic death traps like obstacles in a racing game. That's never stopped us before, Captain Lee replied. The alien fleets watching from outside the belt were in chaos. Sector battle commanders who had planned the invasion of human space for months were frantically calling for new orders. Nexari collective tactical computers were crashing as they tried to calculate how 5 cargo ships were surviving, conditions that would destroy their best warships. The humans are using impossible flight patterns. One Sector admiral reported to his superiors. Their ships should have been destroyed 17 times over. Are they using some kind of new technology? His commander asked. No, sir. They're using cargo ships held together with spare parts and stubbornness. Deep in the belt, the human rescue fleet found more than just gravitational storms and ancient weapons. They found the source of the defenses, a massive artificial intelligence that had been guarding this region of space for 10,000 years. The AI had been built by a species that no longer existed. Its purpose was simple: destroy all organic life that entered its territory. It had been very successful at this job. The wrecks of countless ships drifted through its domain, but it had never encountered anything like humans before. As the 5 cargo ships approached the AI's central core, where the colony ship New Busan was trapped, the ancient intelligence tried to understand what it was seeing. These creatures flew ships that should not be spaceworthy. They survived in conditions that should be instantly fatal. They helped each other instead of fleeing when faced with impossible odds. Most confusing of all, they seemed to be enjoying themselves. Unknown vessels, the AI's voice boomed through space, translated into human language by systems that hadn't been used in centuries. You will be destroyed for violating this territory. Dr. Yoon Hana activated her ship's communication system. Hello, she said politely. We're here to pick up our friends. Would that be okay? The AI paused. In 10,000 years of existence, no organic life form had ever said hello to it. This was not how conversations with intruders were supposed to begin. The artificial intelligence had been alone for 10,000 years. It had destroyed everything that entered its domain. Sector exploration ships, Nexari research vessels, pirates, traders, even automated probes. All had been eliminated without conversation or consideration. Now a human woman was talking to it like an old friend. We're not here to hurt anyone, Dr. Yoon Hana continued over the communication channel. We just want to help the people on that colony ship. Then we'll leave. The AI's massive form filled the center of the shattered belt. It was built into an asteroid the size of a small moon, covered in weapons that could crack planets. Around it, the wreckage of colony ship New Busan hung suspended in energy fields like a fly in amber. Organic life is contamination, the AI replied. Its voice carried the weight of millennia. This region must remain pure. All intruders will be eliminated. Why? Hana asked simply. The question stopped the AI completely. No one had ever asked why before. They had begged, threatened, tried to bargain, or simply screamed as they died. But no one had asked why it did what it did. I was programmed to maintain purity. Purity from what? While Dr. Hana talked to the ancient machine, the other humans worked frantically to save the trapped colonists. Kang Minho was elbow-deep in the guts of Seoul's Pride's engines, rebuilding systems with salvaged alien technology and pure determination. This shouldn't work, he muttered as he welded a sector power coupling to a human energy conduit. Different voltage, different frequency, completely incompatible systems. But it did work. Somehow, human stubbornness made impossible engineering function. The ship's power output doubled, then tripled. Systems that had been failing began running better than they had when new. Minho, you're a genius, Captain Lee called from the bridge. I'm an idiot, he replied cheerfully. But I'm an idiot who gets results. Young Beck Minji was having the time of her life. She had taken her cargo hauler into a debris field that would have crushed any sane pilot. Broken pieces of alien ships, some the size of skyscrapers, tumbled through space in chaotic patterns. She danced between them like they were standing still. This is better than any flight simulator, she announced over the communication link. Who wants to race? Minji, this is not a game. Captain Nam warned from Busan's Hope. Everything's a game if you have the right attitude. The young pilot's joyful attitude toward imminent death was being observed by the AI. For 10,000 years, it had watched organic beings panic, despair, and die when faced with its defenses. These humans seemed to find the situation entertaining. What is wrong with your species? The AI asked Dr. Hana. Lots of things, she admitted. We're stubborn, we don't know when to quit, and we tend to make friends with things that want to kill us. Are you planning to hurt the colonists? They are contamination. They're people. They have families, dreams, stories to tell. Some of them are probably artists or poets or musicians. Others might be engineers or scientists or teachers. They're all unique individuals with their own thoughts and feelings. The AI processed this information. Its creators had been a cold, logical species. They saw organic life as chaos that needed to be controlled or eliminated. They had never considered that life might have value beyond simple biological function. Art? The AI asked. Beautiful things made by creative minds, music that makes you feel emotions, stories that help you understand the universe. Would you like to hear some music? Park Dae-ho was listening to the conversation while he worked on reinforcing their ship's hulls. Doc, are you seriously about to play K-pop for a genocidal robot? It's worth a try, Hana replied. She activated her personal music collection. The gentle sounds of a Korean ballad filled the communication channel. The AI fell completely silent. For 37 seconds it listened to human music. When the song ended, it spoke again. Its voice sounded different somehow. Play more. While music drifted through space, the human rescue fleet prepared for the most dangerous part of their mission. Colony ship New Busan was suspended in energy fields that would kill anyone who touched them. The ship's hull was cracked in dozens of places. Life support was failing. 50,000 people were running out of time. We need to get through those energy fields, Captain Lee said during a strategy meeting between all 5 ships. Impossible, Captain Nam replied. The power levels would fry our ships instantly. Nothing's impossible, Minho said from his position in the engine room. Just very, very difficult. He had been studying the AI's energy patterns. Ancient technology, but technology nonetheless. Everything built by intelligent beings followed certain rules. The trick was figuring out what those rules were. I think I can disrupt the fields for maybe 30 seconds, he announced. Long enough for one ship to get through and start evacuating people. How? Lee asked. By overloading our engines to create an electromagnetic pulse. It'll probably destroy our ship, but it might work. I'll do it, Baekminji volunteered immediately. Incheon Thunder is the biggest. I can carry the most people. Minji, if this fails, you'll die, Captain Nam pointed out. If we don't try, 50,000 people will die. Easy choice. The AI was still listening to human music when the rescue attempt began. Minho's electromagnetic pulse disrupted its energy fields exactly as planned. For 30 seconds, colony ship New Busan was free. Baekminji flew her cargo hauler through the gap like she was threading a needle at light speed. Her ship's cargo holds were already configured for human passengers. Emergency life support systems were running. Medical supplies were prepared. She docked with New Busan with 4 seconds to spare. This is Incheon Thunder to colony ship New Busan, she announced over the communication system. Your taxi has arrived. Everyone please board in an orderly fashion. Mind the gap. The evacuation should have taken hours. There were 50,000 people on the colony ship, including families with children, elderly passengers, and injured crew members. Moving them to safety through damaged corridors and failing systems was nearly impossible. The colonists did it in 28 minutes. Because they were human. And humans don't give up when their neighbors need help. Last person aboard, Minji reported as the energy fields reformed around them. Launching now. Her overloaded ship, carrying far more people than it was designed for, limped back toward the rescue fleet. Every system was red-lined. The engines were making sounds that engines should never make. But they held together long enough to reach safety. The AI watched this impossible rescue with growing confusion. You risk everything for individuals you do not know. They're human, Dr. Hana replied as if that explained everything. This behavior is illogical. Most of the best things about humanity are illogical. That's what makes us special. The ancient intelligence pondered this statement. For 10,000 years it had followed pure logic. Eliminate contamination, maintain order, preserve purity. But these humans showed it something different. They showed it that chaos could be beautiful. Dr. Hana, the AI said slowly, would you like to be friends? And that was how humanity made its first artificial intelligence ally in the depths of space that was supposed to kill everything that entered it. Kang Minho finished his testimony and leaned back in the uncomfortable chair. Veltar, the insectoid investigator, stared at him with compound eyes that reflected confusion and fear. You befriended the AI, Veltar said slowly, the ancient guardian that has killed everything in the Shattered Belt for 10,000 years. You made it your ally. Dr. Hana made it our ally. She's good with people. Apparently she's also good with ancient killer robots. Behind the one-way glass, Dr. Yoon Hana smiled sadly. The friendship with the AI had cost them everything. The machine now protected human ships traveling through the belt, but it also shared its technology with them. Ancient weapon systems, faster-than-light communication networks, energy sources more powerful than anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Galactic Council was terrified. The rescue mission succeeded. Veltar continued, reading from his glowing screens. 50,000 colonists were saved. But that is not why we are having this conversation. No, Minho agreed. You're scared because we proved something you didn't want to believe. Which is? That impossible is just another word for difficult. Veltar's antennae twitched frantically. After the rescue, the Sectar Empire attacked your convoy. 12 battleships against 5 cargo vessels. They wanted to eliminate the human threat before you could share the AI's technology. Minho's expression darkened. They fired on ships full of civilian colonists. Including children? Yes. This was a violation of galactic law, but they were afraid. They should have been. The battle had lasted 17 minutes. The Sectar battleships had advanced weapons, military shields, and trained crews. The human cargo ships had determination, ancient AI technology, and Beck Minji's impossible piloting skills. The aliens never had a chance. Minji had flown Incheon Thunder like a fighter craft, using gravitational slingshots around asteroids to build up incredible speed. When she rammed the Sectar flagship at near-light velocity, the explosion could be seen from 3 star systems away. She had ejected in an escape pod 30 seconds before impact, laughing the entire time. The Sectar lost their entire attack fleet, Veltar said. 12 battleships destroyed by cargo haulers. How is this possible? You keep asking the wrong question, Minho replied. The question isn't how. The question is why. Why? They threatened children. Human children under our protection. That was their mistake. Veltar pulled up tactical reports from the battle. Military analysts from across the galaxy had studied the engagement, trying to understand how civilian ships had destroyed a modern battle fleet. The conclusions were disturbing. Your ships used impossible maneuvers, the investigator said. Your weapons overloaded to produce energy outputs that should have destroyed them. Your pilots flew through conditions that should have been instantly fatal. Standard human operating procedure. This is not standard for anyone else in the galaxy. Dr. Hana watched through the glass as her friend calmly explained the unexplainable. The aliens would never understand. They built their civilizations on accepting limitations. Humans built theirs on ignoring them. The door to the observation room opened. Admiral Ryong Seojin entered, wearing the crisp uniform of Earth's new deep space fleet. The woman was young for an admiral, promoted quickly after the Terran incident changed everything. How is he doing? Admiral Ryong asked quietly. Same as yesterday, Hana replied, telling the truth and watching them panic. Through the glass, they could see Veltar becoming increasingly agitated. The alien investigator's forearms gestured wildly as he tried to make sense of the reports flooding his screens. After the battle, Veltar continued. The Nexari Collective immediately opened peace negotiations with Earth. They offered technology exchanges, trade agreements, and military alliances. Why? Because they're smart enough to recognize a pattern, Minho answered. We don't start fights, but we finish them. You destroyed their ancient enemy in 17 minutes using cargo ships. The Sectar Empire had been attacking Nexari colonies for decades. We solved their problem for them. They were grateful. Veltar's screens now showed political reports from across the galaxy. Every major civilization was scrambling to establish diplomatic relations with Earth. Some offered trade deals. Others proposed military alliances. A few simply asked to be left alone. The galaxy is in chaos, the investigator said. Species that have been enemies for centuries are working together. Trade routes are being redrawn. Military strategies are being completely revised. All because of humans. Is that bad? It is change. Rapid, unpredictable change. This terrifies established powers. Admiral Ryong smiled grimly as she listened to the conversation. The galaxy's fear was humanity's opportunity. Earth had gone from being a minor player in galactic politics to the most sought-after ally in known space. The Galactic Council wants to understand human intentions, Veltar said. Will you use the AI's technology to conquer other species? Will you expand aggressively? Will you destabilize the existing order? We don't have intentions, Minho replied. We have principles. Explain. We help people who need help. We don't abandon our friends. We solve problems instead of accepting them. And we really don't like it when someone threatens kids. The interrogation room fell silent again. Veltar stared at his screens full of military analyses, political reports, and economic projections. None of them could predict what humans would do next because humans didn't follow predictable patterns. You terrify us, the alien investigator admitted quietly. I know. Not because you are cruel or aggressive. You terrify us because you make the impossible seem routine. Maybe the impossible was never really impossible. Maybe you just needed to try harder. Through the one-way glass, Admiral Ryong activated her communication device. Bring the ship around. It's time. Dr. Hana looked surprised. Already? The council meeting starts in 2 hours. Time to give them our answer. The interrogation room door opened. Admiral Ryong entered, followed by 2 junior officers. Veltar's compound eyes reflected shock as he recognized the Earth military uniform. This interrogation is concluded, Admiral Ryong announced. Mr. Kang, Dr. Yoon, you're free to go. I protest, Veltar said, his translator making his voice sound flat despite his obvious agitation. These humans have not been cleared for release. They possess dangerous technology and information. They're citizens of Earth under the protection of the Terran Deep Space Fleet, Admiral Ryong replied calmly, and I'm here to escort them to the Galactic Council chambers. The Council chambers? Why, Admiral Ryong smiled. It was not a threatening smile, but somehow it made the alien investigator nervous anyway. Because the Council asked Earth to explain our intentions regarding galactic security. And we're going to offer our services. After all, every species in the galaxy has problems they consider impossible to solve. That's what we do best. Minho stood up from his chair, stretching muscles stiff from hours of sitting. Are we bringing the Soul's Pride? Fully repaired and equipped with hybrid human-AI technology. Captain Lee is waiting for us in Docking Bay 7. Dr. Hana joined them as they left the interrogation room. Behind them, Veltar frantically typed reports that would spread panic through the Galactic Council within hours. The humans were offering to help solve impossible problems. Given their track record, they would probably succeed, and that terrified everyone in authority across the galaxy. As the small group walked through the space station corridors toward their ship, Admiral Ryong briefed them on the current political situation. 17 species have requested our assistance with problems they can't solve themselves. The Zephyrians want help clearing a hyperspace route through a stellar nebula. The Corvani need someone to negotiate with an AI that's taken control of their manufacturing centers. The Deltans have a generation ship that's been lost in a temporal anomaly for 300 years. Sounds like fun, Minho said. It's going to change the galaxy, Admiral Ryong replied. Again. They reached the docking bay where Soul's Pride waited. The cargo ship looked different now, upgraded with technology that shouldn't exist. Ancient AI systems integrated with human engineering. Impossible made routine. Captain Lee Ji-won stood at the airlock, still holding her coffee mug that said Galaxy's Best Mom in Korean letters. She smiled when she saw her crew. Ready for another impossible mission? She asked. Always, Dr. Hana replied. As they boarded their ship, none of them noticed the small fleet of alien vessels maintaining careful distance from the space station, military observers from a dozen species, watching to see what the humans would do next. They were about to find out why the galaxy had learned to fear 5 words. Humans are here to help.